So there are three primary laws or three principal laws of this learning theory, namely the law of readiness, the law of exercise, and lastly the law of effect. The law of readiness is a law that which is stated that the learning is independent upon the learner's readiness to act, which facilitates the strengthening of bond between stimulus and response. Like for example, an athlete who is highly motivated and eager to learn and moves or any strategy in a particular sport is more likely to be receptive to learning rather than the one who is poorly motivated.
Principles of learning. Law of effect states that the likely recurrence of a response is generally governed by its consequence or effect, generally in the form of a reward or punishment. Law of recency states that the most recent response is likely to govern the recurrence. Law of exercise. It states that the stimulus-response associations are strengthened through repetition.
In theories of learning, under it is the law of exercise, in which it said that we learn by doing and we forget by not doing. The stimulus and response are strengthened if we used it. That is why I believe that it is always better if we learn and we apply it. Because learning with application makes the students easily absorb or easily understand a certain topic or a certain area, because they were able to practice the actual thing that happened in the scene. For example, as a BPED student, we are more into dancing, and one of our professors assigned us to follow a certain dance on TikTok for our final output or for our final activity. And during the performance, if we will just watch the choreography or what is happening in the video and we will not execute it, there is a big possibility that during the actual performance, we will forget the dance steps. But if we will apply what we are learning, if we will apply what we are seeing in the video, we will be able to masterize or we will be able to perfectly execute the dance steps. That is why in the law of exercise, we learn by doing and we forget by.
So now, Thorndike before 1930, the law of effect. Thorndike on reinforcement. If a response is being followed by a satisfying state of affairs, the strength of the connection is being increased. While if the response is followed by an annoying state of affairs, the strength of the connection is being decreased.
So who is Edward Thorndike? Edward Thorndike is an American psychologist whose work on animal behavior and the learning process that led to the theory of connectionism, in which this theory states that behavioral responses to specific stimuli are established through a process of trial and error that affects natural or neutral connections between the stimuli and the most satisfying responses.
Mr. Edward Thorndike contributed many things in our current education. Like for example, he works on the learning theory that led to the development of operant condition in behaviorism or within the behaviorism. And another contribution of him is he made a study of child development into a science objective, or rather objective science. And this contribution of him was also extensive to physiology literature.
According to Edward Thorndike, behaviors followed by a satisfying consequences tend to be repeated, and those that produce unpleasant consequences are less likely to be repeated.